After Man United won the League Cup final against Newcastle, we dipped. The form of the team dipped. And it seemed like the crescendo of winning that League Cup had sort of taken a bit of momentum out of our sails. But after this week and the response that we've seen after the Newcastle defeat, with those 2 wins against Brentford and Everton, in my opinion, I think we've got everything now that we need for United to kick on and to really find another gear for the rest of this season. Ten Hag said that the season starts now, before that game against Newcastle, and it started the worst possible way. But it's been another response this week, and I want to run through every single reason I think there is to be positive about United right now, because trust me, there's quite a few of them. And look, if you look at how Manchester United have played in these last 2 games, fast starts. We've been crying out for them all season long, and we got them against Brentford and against Everton. Were there problems? Yes, there were problems. Geez, 21 shots we had in the first half against Everton, which I believe is a Premier League record this season. Certainly for Manchester United. We only scored 1. It was a problem. We need to be more clinical than that. But that is not going to be resolved until we sign a striker in the summer. But Ten Hag has been demanding that these players have those fast starts. And we'd lost that sort of energy after the League Cup final. And we haven't had Casemiro, we haven't had Eriksen, we've had some injury concerns. So to see United doing that, I think is a massively positive step in the right direction. Of course, this is all in the right direction because we're not going to be winning the league title this year. We're not going to be winning the Champions League, and that's ultimately where we want United to be. But in the absence of Casemiro and Eriksen, look, that first game against Newcastle, McTominay was abysmal. Everybody was abysmal. It was a team tragedy of a performance. McTominay in these last 2 games, and alongside him, Sabitzer, have kind of stepped up. They've stepped up a little bit. Are they going to be good enough to start every week for Manchester United? Now, some may argue that Sabitzer will be. I don't think McTominay will be here in the long-term future, but I think McTominay will be a very good signing for somebody else inside the Premier League, and United should be getting a good amount of money for him. But I tell you what, yesterday, and we need to speak about this, and that performance from Bruno in that deeper playmaker, conductor, however you want to describe it, was brilliant. And I saw something a bit different from Bruno in these last 2 games. And it's a bit more patience in his game. It's not always about the Hollywood. Well, it shouldn't be. It's not always about that. Sometimes it's just keeping the ball moving, recycling possession and keeping United moving around the pitch. And Bruno has been brilliant at that in these last couple of games. Sort of a maturity to his performances in these last 2 games. Without Eriksen and without Casemiro, Ten Hag needed somebody to rely on to be that sort of link. And he was perfect. Now, Brentford and Everton, they made it slightly easier by not pressing us. But maybe that's semi because they respected how we were playing. I don't know. You can look into that how you want to. But Bruno, brilliant in these last couple of games. Didn't really have a position. Just more had a role of making sure everything stayed connected. And he did it so well. So to have Bruno playing like that and to have these 2 about to come back. And on top of that, I think you're looking at McTominay, you're looking at Sabitzer, and you're looking at Man United's squad stepping up a little bit. There's still levels that are needed. Yes, there are. But Casemiro and Eriksen now being available for Manchester United at the same time as Bruno is playing like that. I don't know how you look at the best midfield setup. Do you look with Casemiro sat there with Eriksen in front with Bruno in the number 10, which has been our traditional best midfield this season? Or do you allow Bruno to play slightly deeper and Eriksen to play further forward? I think you're probably going to revert to the default of what has been the best this season, but it's brilliant. Now, look, we still need more in this midfield, and that's why you're seeing these sorts of links. You've got Mike McGrath in the Telegraph here, saying that Man United and Ten Hag are looking at both Moises Caicedo and Alexis McAllister as potential midfield signings. Both of them are fantastic players. Caicedo, geez, let's not speak about how much we could have signed him for a few years ago. That's going to be a painful one if we do end up spending X amount on him. But I'm so positive about how United's options in midfield look. We've coped with everything. Look, we won the League Cup final without Eriksen. We've had 8 games this season now without Casemiro through suspension. Both of those are now back. And this Manchester United team, as it stands right now, in V1 of Ten Hag's era, We can't cope without them. We are a different team entirely, with them in and without them in. And that's where this huge dip in form has been centered around. And it's true. And now they're both back. And to have played how we did play in these last couple of games, honestly, I think is such a big, big positive. As has been the return of Martial, not only to the team, but the return to the goal scoring sheet as well. United getting that second goal, killing that game yesterday. And that's a big positive, actually, because we haven't done that often this season. And it's been a bit of those games where you shouldn't be nervous in the last 15, 20, you end up being nervous. But Martial coming back, we needed that. Weghorst has been, look, I honestly think the criticism of him has been a bit odd. Really, really odd. We were skint in January. We needed a striker. We couldn't sign anybody. He came in, started 19 games in a row. We won the League Cup, and he helped the team continue scoring. Is he the best goal scorer? No. Will he ever be starting 19 games again for Manchester United? No. Martial being back and seeing those two smiling again and playing again with each other is brilliant. Because in the pre-season, if you look at how Manchester United shaped up, it was Sancho, it was Rashford, and it was Martial. Now, I'm hoping and you're hoping that this is not a bad injury, because Man United, with and without Rashford, well, we talk about the absence that we feel without Casemiro and Eriksen. I hate to think the absence that we would feel if we had an attack that didn't have Marcus Rashford in for an extended period of time. I'm not sure how we cope without that, because we're struggling to score goals with a player that scored, nearly 30 goals this season, let alone without him. So fingers crossed that isn't going to be too bad an injury. But these sorts of injuries, I'll be honest, I'm surprised they haven't happened more this season. I'm surprised they haven't happened earlier. Last couple of weeks, we've had Shaw and Rashford both pulling up with muscle injuries because we've been playing every 3 days. This is all a consequence of that dumb World Cup being in the middle of the season. But we've coped with it. And have we dipped? Yes, we've dipped post the League Cup. But now with Eriksen and Casemiro back, Bruno playing in the form that he's playing in, Martial coming back into this team. And I tell you what, and we've got to speak about it, I think Jadon Sancho and Anthony, certainly the last couple of games, Anthony probably more so in my opinion, he's been so dangerous. But both of them starting to now there's so much more that's needed from both of them, and they know that, right? Haven't seen complete performances from either of them. But we've got threat, and that's why we created 21 shots in that first half against Everton. We need to be more clinical. Yes, we need to be. But in terms of the team playing as a unit, the 2 fast starts were so crucial. And after the disappointment of Newcastle, and everyone worried that, here we go, this is going to be Man United towards the end of the season, I can now personally say with real confidence, I can see so many reasons why Manchester United now, between now and the end of the season, have everything in place to kick into another gear. Now, we've got Sevilla coming up on Thursday, then Nottingham Forest away. They're in a relegation scrap. That won't be easy. That won't be like the League Cup. And the players can't be going in there thinking that. But we need to come away with from that with a win. In hostile environments, Man United, so far, typically this season, it's where our poorest performances have come away from home. Kick that habit. Do it against Nottingham Forest, because we then go into Sevilla away, and then we go into the Brighton FA Cup semi, followed by Spurs away. But I'm confident. I'm confident about how this team is shaping up, how we've coped, how we've responded to Newcastle, how Bruno is playing incredibly well in that deeper lying role, and he's about to get the best 2 midfielders that we have in this squad back in to play alongside him. And you've got Martial coming back and scoring, and you've got the likes of Jadon Sancho. Look, even Harry Maguire was playing well yesterday. I think there are so many reasons to be positive and confident that this United team can sort of look back at the last few weeks, last few performances, and say, you know what? Right, we have struggled since the League Cup final. Something did disappear after that. I think we're starting to re-find it. And with all of those players coming back, with everything that, in my opinion, puts us into a better position for what's coming up next. You can let me know what you think in the comments below. But happy Easter to everybody. I'm still out here in Marrakesh for a few more days, and I'll be back. And we'll be back with the live streams. I miss you. I miss the community. But let me know what you think about how United are shaping up for these next few weeks, and whether you think I'm going over the top with the positivity. I don't think I am, though.